Good evening. Welcome to the March 9th Cabarrus County Board of Education business meeting. And I'd like to call the meeting to order. And next thing we're going to do is our opening ceremonies. So please stand with me.
Presenting tonight's colors are students from the Mount Pleasant High School Air Force JROTC, and their personnel includes Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Leah Weiss, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Josh Flanagan, Cadet First Lieutenant Michaela Good, and Cadet Master Sergeant Maddie Sossaman. Honoring America tonight with the singing of our national anthem were members of the J.N. Fries Middle School 8th grade chorus and their director, Mrs. Mary Gardner. Thank you.
You may be seated. Okay, well, they did an outstanding job. Thank you, students. First item here on the agenda is setting our agenda. So I'll need a motion and a second.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Shoemaker, second by Ms. Grimsley. All in favor of adopting our agenda today, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. We've got our agenda set, and we're going to move on to recognitions. Do we have Mr. Tyson? Is he? There he is.
Good evening, board members. I'd like to call forward the any state champion that is in attendance tonight. If you come up front.
come up right here. She was going to pass it on to him.
Right, we were very fortunate this past winter to have 4 individual North Carolina High School Athletic Association state champions and 1 swim relay team. When I call your name, if you'll step up front a little bit so we can recognize you. Chase Creighton of Mount Pleasant High School. Chase was a 2A state champion this year in the 220-pound weight class. Chase is a 2-time all-conference player, wrestler, all-state, 38-9 this year, and 83-29 for his career. So we're looking for 2 more strong years out of Chase as well, and we look forward to watching him on the football field as well. Congratulations, Chase. Next we have Marcus Jackson. Marcus is a sophomore, and dynamite comes in small packages, and this is a 106-pound state champion in the 3A level. And Marcus just had an outstanding year this year. He was the SBC Wrestler of the Year, all conference, all state, and had a 54-1 record this year. Congratulations. Walker Malachowski. Walker's our lone senior, and he's Mr. Pole Vault in the county. And he won the indoor track pole vaulting championship with jumping at 14 feet. He has been the Rocky River Conference indoor and outdoor champion the last 3 years. And he set a goal so far to jump 15 feet. The record at Mount Pleasant's 14 feet, 10 inches. I believe that's right, isn't it, Walker? So we look for Walker to be breaking that this spring as it gets a little warmer, get a little looser, and get over it, right? So congratulations, Walker. Next, we have Matthew Lucky. Matthew is a sophomore at Concord High School. He won the 100-yard breaststroke, the first time that Concord High's had a breaststroke champion in all their championships, which they've actually won 13 state championships this past century. He was the SBC and the Western Regional champion this year. Outstanding job, son. Congratulations. Then we had the relay team from Concord High, which won the 200-yard medley relay. These team members are Matthew Lucky, if he'll step forward, Andrew Lucky, Ben Vincent, and Jackson Moon. And these guys also won the conference championship, were 4th in the Western Regionals. It was first medley championship for Concord High School as well. And these guys only lost the state championship last year by 5/100ths of a second. So congratulations coming back this year and bringing home the gold. Congratulations, guys. And we want to commend you guys for not only what you do on the courts and on our athletic fields, but what you do in the classroom as well, as you guys are all class acts, and we certainly appreciate that and being great role models for the other kids in the community as well. So thank you. If you'll walk down here, and the board members will congratulate you. I don't know if you want to shake hands or not. Just they'll nod. Okay, just turn around and they'll greet you then with all the viruses going around. Fist bump.
Moving on. So our next is Impact, number 2. Hilbish Ford, Teacher of the Month. Right?
All right. So good evening, Mr. Chair and board members. It is my pleasure to present our Hilbish Ford Teacher of the Month for March. Mr. Vaughn was not able to join us for tonight's presentation. As always, we offer our thanks and gratitude to him and to Hilbish Ford for their continued support of our teachers through this recognition program. This is a wonderful partnership that we have enjoyed for many, many years, 10 years to be exact, and one that we look forward to continuing for many more. Our Hilbish Ford Teacher of the Month for March is Mr. David Parisi. Mr. Parisi, would you, your family, and any members of your school's administrative team who are here with you tonight, please come forward. Right up here. I'll let you stand beside Dr. Louder. David Parisi is a robotics teacher and coach at J.M. Robinson High School. He was nominated for this award by a parent who wrote, "This man is tireless," and they put that in all capitals. He is devoted to the VEX robotics program and gives his full 100% to the students, school, county, and state. He has organized countless competitions, not only for J.M. Robinson, but also for neighboring schools that are trying to break into the robotics scene. His love for the program shows in his enthusiastic conversations about the achievements VEX has accomplished over the years, and his organizational skills for these competitions are incomparable. He has the routine down to a science, and his energy for setup and teardown is immeasurable. He oversees every aspect of the program and tries to guide his teams to be the best that they can be. His passion for VEX is contagious, and the encouragement he gives his students is what keeps them devoted to the program. He inspires them to push their boundaries to achieve their goals, and the competition results speak for themselves. He also shares his passion with parents in the hopes that the program will gain momentum and that people across the state can realize that their kids can achieve when they show an interest in robotics. It is with this enthusiasm that he credits the students for their hard work, but in his humility never seeks the credit for his own innumerable contributions. That is why David Parisi deserves the title of Teacher of the Month. Mr. Parisi, congratulations on your selection as Hilbish Ford Teacher of the Month, and thank you for your passion and enthusiasm that you bring to your students and to the robotics program. See, Dr. Louder's already presented you there with your award, and if you will then just turn around and let our board members congratulate you.
All right, one more shot. Here we go. On three. 1, 2, 3.
I've been to some of David's robotics events, and they're just amazing. The coordination, everything that goes into putting those things on. Next one is 4.03, Impact Through Education Awards. Ms. Ronnie Boone.
Good evening. Tonight we will present Impact Through Education Awards to students and staff at Beverly Hills STEM Elementary School and J.N. Freese Magnet Middle School. These Impact Through Education Awards are made possible through the generosity of Equitable, formerly AXA Advisors. If any Equitable representatives are here with us this evening, would you please join me at the front of the room? We appreciate the Equitable sponsorship of these awards and are grateful for this partnership. Thank you for being here this evening. Now on to tonight's awards. We'll begin with Beverly Hills STEM Elementary School. Would the members of the school's administrative team please come forward? Stand on that line right there for me, the tape on the floor. Yeah, there you go. Our first honoree this evening from Beverly Hills STEM Elementary is Ansley Linker. Would Ansley and her family please come forward? little bit closer, yeah.
Chin
There you
together
go.
There we go.
Ansley is a pleasure to have at the school. She is one of the most helpful students at Beverly Hills STEM Elementary. She never waits to be asked to help out. Both her peers and students in the younger grades revere her, and she is the type of leader we want to inspire our younger students to be. Her teacher writes, Ansley is an inspiration. Her drive and determination are an inspiration to me as a teacher as well as to her peers. She is willing to fight for her growth every day, day in and day out. She helps in the primary classrooms in the morning without reminders, coercion, praise, or thanks, and she does it every day with a smile. She is quick to offer support to those who are in need, and she cheers on those who need a word of encouragement. I believe Ansley is a glowing example of what a Beverly Hills Bulldog looks like, and I wait in anticipation to see how she will change the world. Congratulations, Ansley. Our next Beverly Hills STEM Elementary honoree is Joshua Tate. Would Joshua and his family please come forward? Joshua is a natural leader and can always be trusted to do the right thing without reminders from adults in the building. Joshua sets a great example for Bulldogs in the lower grades. He is always respectful, service-oriented, considerate, and inclusive of others. His teacher writes, Joshua is a vital part of the classroom and exudes leadership in multiple ways. One that sticks out the most is his willingness to serve others, whether that looks like helping a classmate study for the fire and life safety competition or actively participating in a service learning project. He's willing to help even if the outcome isn't for his benefit. He took great pride in the service learning project in which he was willing to deliberate with his peers, make sound decisions, and present around the school to raise awareness about homelessness in the community. He has been a morning helper to kindergartners, a member of Safety Patrol, and all in all willing to help out not just his classmates, but any Bulldog in need. This is the kind of leadership that I think is important to have in the classroom, and I am proud to be his teacher. Congratulations, Joshua. Do you want me to go on and do hers? Do you want me to go on and do hers now? Okay. Joshua, come back up here and stand with your mom. Because his mom is getting an award too, so. This is Raquel Edwards. Mrs. Edwards is an educator at heart. Though she admits that this was not originally her intended career path, Mrs. Edwards was called from the world of marketing and insurance to a fulfilling role in the school setting. Mrs. Edwards started out as a volunteer at Beverly Hills, helping out with copies, leading small groups, escorting students around campus, providing duty-free lunches for teachers, helping to coach the Girls on the Run team, and serving as a member of the district's parent council. If you can name it, she probably had a hand in helping out. Now, as an instructional assistant, she works with students in all grades across the school to meet targeted needs, close achievement gaps, and help them grow not only academically, but socially and emotionally as well. As a mother of 3 Beverly Hills Bulldogs, one of whom was recognized tonight, Joshua, Mrs. Edwards understands the importance of working to maintain a positive school culture where students' interests are the top priority. Mrs. Edwards works with a variety of staff members across the school on a daily basis, and in all cases, she enjoys respectful relationships. Earlier in the year, she was recognized as the Beverly Hills Teacher Assistant of the Year. Tonight, the school adds to her accolades as it honors her with an Impact Through Education Award. Congratulations. And our final honoree from Beverly Hills Elementary this evening is Erin Wilkerson. Would Ms. Wilkerson and her family please come forward? Last year, Mrs. Wilkerson approached the administrative team to express an interest in leadership and professional growth activities that would enable her to make a greater impact on the school and its students. Mrs. Wilkerson has been entrusted with several opportunities since that time, and she continues to expand her leadership capacity. Regardless of the task, Mrs. Wilkerson has never once said, "I can't." She was elected to serve as a member of the school leadership team, and in that capacity, she has helped strategically plan for the year and achieve the school's goal of making exceeding expected growth the norm. Mrs. Wilkerson was selected to be a member of the Beverly Hills Teaching and Learning Team, where she works with other members of the team to tailor professional development opportunities for staff members. She serves as a grade level chair, PLC coordinator, lead mentor, a mentor for a colleague, coach of the Dream Chasers team, a member of the Garden Committee, a member of the Math SIP Goal Team, and as a member of the district's Teacher Leaders Cohort 7. Though a veteran teacher and recognized leader at Beverly Hills, Mrs. Wilkerson regularly seeks feedback so she can better meet the needs of her students. In her class, students are expected to take responsibility for their learning. Mrs. Wilkerson tells students exactly what she expects and then looks for students who demonstrate her expectations. In this type of classroom environment, students feel comfortable taking risks due to their trust in her ability to support them. Mrs. Wilkerson always maintains a solution-oriented approach to problems of practice and consistently demonstrates support for the initiatives and strategies used to affect student learning. Over the past 2 years, Beverly Hills has made a myriad of changes, and she has embraced these changes and has encouraged colleagues to do the same. When she has questions, she asks them to gain clarity so she can lead and encourage others in better meeting the needs of the students and achieving the goals of the Beverly Hills community. Thank you, Mrs. Wilkerson, for your leadership. We are proud to present you with an Impact Through Education Award. Congratulations. Thanks, guys. Now we'll move on to the award. No, one more school. Okay. That's okay. Now we'll move on to the Impact Through Education Awards for J.N. Fries Magnet Middle School. Would the members of the school's administrative team please come forward at this time? Our first honoree from J.N. Fries Magnet Middle School is Sumek Boral. Would Sumek and his family please come forward? Get closer so we can get you everybody in the picture. Sumek is an incredibly intelligent, talented, and involved 8th grade student at J.N. Fries Magnet Middle School. He has a reputation with his peers and teachers of being responsible, dependable, positive, and artistic. Sumek is a leader on the school's robotics team and in the Beta Club. He is academically focused, as evidenced by an unblemished cumulative report card where he has never received anything below a grade of A in any class he has ever taken. Sumek has an insatiable desire for learning. He's learning how to play the piano, and he is working on learning Spanish as his 5th fluent language. Sumik's healthy, competitive side shows as an accomplished tennis player and in his recent robotics team competitions. He happily shares that his robotics team has progressed to 27th place in the state. Last year, as a 7th grader, Sumik wrote a speech that is still displayed on the school's Beta Club webpage. His words from this excerpt speak to his character. He wrote, "It doesn't matter where you are from, where you live, or how you act in life. You are always given choices, and you should always do it in the interest of others." It's this selfless thinking that confirms Sumik as deserving of the Impact Through Education Award. Congratulations. Congratulations. You can go sit down. Our next Impact honoree from Jan Fries Magnet Middle is Micah Smith. Would Micah and her family please come forward? Micah Smith is an 8th grade student at Jan Fries Magnet Middle School. She is a tremendous leader and has the respect of her peers and school staff members. During her years at Jan Fries, she has represented the school well as a basketball player, a cheerleader, an actress in the school drama performance, an honor roll student, and an all-county chorus representative. Micah's teachers indicate that she can always be counted on to listen intently, know what is going on, and assist classmates when needed. She is a true leader and doesn't mind providing positive peer pressure in attempts to create the best possible learning environment for herself and for others. Micah's peers describe her as being creative, well-rounded, friendly, outgoing, attentive, and known for intentionally including others. Her teachers and friends notice that Micah is always smiling, has a great sense of humor, and doesn't take herself too seriously. Her teachers all indicate how much they enjoy having Micah in class and can't wait to see where her strong character, persistence, and grit take her in life. She is and will continue to make an impact through education. Congratulations, Micah. Our next honoree from Jan Fries Magnet Middle this evening is Ms. Janelle Gray, and Ms. Gray could not be here this evening. She's under the weather, so I do want to read a little bit of her bio, and I'll present her award to her school administrator so they can make sure that she gets it. Janelle Gray wears many hats at Jan Fries Magnet Middle School. She serves as the school's Skills Plus math interventionist, leadership team co-chairperson, the MTSS coach, the dance club supervisor, a formal and informal mentor to beginning teachers, a PLC facilitator for 2 PLCs, the local data guru, and an integral part of the school's beginning teacher support program. She has developed into a tremendous leader and a remarkable middle school teacher. She displays a complete commitment to her students and makes every attempt to incorporate engaging activities into her lesson design. It's no secret that Mrs. Gray loves everything Disney. She refers to Jan Fries as the middle school Disney World and herself as Cinderella. She's even been known to appear in a Cinderella gown when the situation calls for it. She lives out the portion of Disney's mission that states, "It will entertain, inform, and inspire people." Mrs. Gray simply radiates positive energy that seems contagious to those she encounters. She is the school's perpetual fun factor. Her colleagues remark about her helpfulness, her ability to think outside the box to solve problems, her effective communication, her focused efforts to accomplish any task put before her, her never-ending support and love for her students, and her whatever it takes attitude. And we are so excited to present her with this Impact Through Education Award. So congratulations to Mrs. Gray. And our final honoree this evening from J.N. Fries Magnet Middle is Ms. Jessica Woolard. Would Ms. Woolard and her family please come forward? Jessica Woolard is the data manager at J.N. Fries Magnet Middle School. She's being recognized for this Impact Through Education Award due to her genuine desire to help others and her consistent actions in doing so. Mrs. Woolard is the ultimate team player. She meets all deadlines presented to her, but will always put her own work on hold to help others when needed. She is incredibly supportive of teachers as they manage student attendance and grades in Power School. She also does a fantastic job of assisting administrators with scheduling and welcoming new students and families to the school. Mrs. Woolard is bilingual and uses her ability to speak in Spanish to facilitate communication between students, staff, and family members. She has gone above and beyond to be the school mom for a group of students new to the country with very limited or no English proficiency. For these students in particular, she becomes the nurse, the guidance counselor, and sometimes the teacher. Mrs. Woolard is known by her Noble Knight family for her warm smile and her typical response of, "Give me just a minute," to indicate she is willing to assist anyone in any way she can. The school staff feels very fortunate to have such an approachable and hardworking individual on their team. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor.
Okay, we have 4.04, which is King of the Court 2019 campaign reports.
I'd like to invite Mr. Michael Landers to please join me at the podium. The King of the Court volleyball tournament celebrated its 12th year in October with 12 schools participating. The event has come a long way from its humble beginnings as a school fundraiser at Mount Pleasant High School to today's countywide event. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Michael Landers, coordinator of King of the Court, who will share this year's results and make a special presentation.
Thank you. A few words about the students involved in this charitable endeavor. It started, this cough is not what you think. It started in 2008 as a fun little charitable effort by some of our male football players and some others wanting to get involved like the girls do in Powder Puff. And we raised a few $1,000s that year, and we donated it to the what would soon to be the Breast Health Center. And Mount Pleasant's name is right on the front doors, in the doors there, in the alcove, of helping to finance that structure. And it's been a huge blessing to the community. And then over the years, we got more and more emails and calls from other students. How do we get involved? Next thing you know, we're in our 12th year with 12 schools, and someone already said, oh, next year it's going to be 13 schools because there's another high school. I was like, yes. Miss Shields, come on up. Miss Shields is the teacher advisor at Cox Mill High School, and they did a great job hosting it this past fall. And we decided, like an all-star game, we should rotate the location, get more stakeholders involved every year. So it was really great this year to raise over $15,000 for breast cancer in our area, of which $13,000 and some change went to the Breast Health Center, and the other $2,300 went to breast cancer support group right here in our area. One of the leaders of the breast cancer support group, her name is Lori Shaver Love. She was a graduate of Mount Pleasant High School, and she was diagnosed a little over 5 years ago with metastatic stage 4 breast cancer. And this was right when we started going around the different parts of the county. And she's having some struggles right now and some challenges, but when she was diagnosed, she was given only a year to live. This is now almost 6 years later, and because of the Breast Health Center, because of the oncology services, and because of what a lot of these students have done to embrace the goal and the effort, it's people like Lori that are in my thoughts and prayers that are benefiting from it. And these students on the organizational level, we had over 500 students from across every crevice of this county involved in some capacity in the fall. And to have that going on voluntarily is a testament to our communities, our students, their families, and the greater good of the cause. And I couldn't be more honored to be standing in the presence of some of these leaders right now. And I'm proud to have seen Jessica take it over. So they're already figuring out what they're going to do next year. I'm going to ask Meredith Malden, the representative from Northeast Foundation and the Breast Health Center, to come up and say a few words.
Good evening. On behalf of Northeast Foundation, Atrium Health Cabarrus, and also the Breast Health Center at Atrium Health Cabarrus, just wanted to say thank you formally. We say it often to this group and to these schools, to the teachers, the advisors, the students, and the families who allow their students to participate in this wonderful fundraiser for the Breast Health Center. But just wanted to say thank you again to all of you. We have done this for 12 years. The high schools have done this for 12 years now. 12 schools, 12 years. And in 2019, this is, although we are presenting this check in 2020, this was for the 2019 event. And in those 12 years now, we have exceeded the $100,000 mark. And we are forever grateful. We know that this number is going to continue to grow, but we are so excited that you guys have reached the threshold of $100,000. And to be exact, on my yellow sticky note, $101,608.44. So I speak on behalf of the foundation, the Breast Health Center, and essentially all of the patients in Cabarrus County that you have helped. Thank you so much.
Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3. I got it.
Wait. I don't trust Mike's camera work.
Well, that is an outstanding event, and I try to attend as many as I have supporting as well. And it's a great turnout, and a lot of kids having a lot of good time for a great cause. It's made a real impact to our community. So again, thank you. Before we move on, I wanted to recognize our SRO for the night, Brian Heinz with Mount Pleasant Elementary School. Thank you, sir, for coming, and thank you for all you're doing out there at Mount Pleasant. I hear a lot of good things. All right, we'll move on to item 5, which is the approval of our minutes from our February 3rd work session, our February 10th business meeting, and I think February 18th additional meeting.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve and just want to notify the other board members there were some really minor edits, spelling corrections and things that Ms. Abbott took care of this morning.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Ms. Furtenbaugh, a second by Mr. Harrison. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes 7-0. All right, moving on to our next item is 6.01, which is board chair comments. And I just had a few things. I don't know what you all were doing on Saturday, but this group of people up here, we spent 7 hours together in this room or in this building, starting the first session of master board training, which was understanding schools in a democracy. We learned quite a bit about each other. We learned quite a bit about our school system. We did a lot of interactive time there. We worked on our looking at policies, looking at the different issues that we face as a board, and essentially how to provide a quality education to the students in Cabarrus County. So I just wanted to commend our board members for taking that time to really improve us as a board, to make us more effective. And it helped the taxpayers too, because we were all together, so you divide the cost by 8 of us, plus it was held here, so there was no expense there as well. So I do want to thank our facilitators, Brian Shaw and Tom Benton, who also spent the day with us. And what else did I have? And the other one is just so we're all aware. We're all aware of what we see in the news with the coronavirus. Cabarrus County Schools does have a plan. We do have, it's closely related to the Cabarrus Health Alliance. That's where we're getting our information, our direction. And we do have a website and a web page, student health information. It's on our front page. If you'd like more information, that's where you need to go. And that's all I had.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to begin tonight with congratulations for our 5 Teacher of the Year finalists. They are Kate Clardy from Concord Middle School, Rachel Harkey from Mary Frances Wall, Delone McCord from Central Cabarrus High School, Stephen Stevens from Hickory Ridge Middle School, and Emily Wagner from R. Brown McAllister Elementary School. One of these outstanding educators will be named our Teacher of the Year at a special ceremony next month. In the coming weeks, we will all get to learn a little more about each of them in a special digital feature titled An Apple a Day from our Communications Department. Our Human Resources Department will host a teacher fair on April 23rd as we seek to add even more outstanding educators to our district. You can register for that by visiting www.cabarrus.k12.nc.us/teachcabco, teach CABCO. Kindergarten registration is now open. This year, registration will be completed online, allowing parents to register from the convenience of home. Children who are 5 years old on or before August 31st, 2020 are eligible to register for kindergarten. Visit our district website for additional information. We look forward to welcoming the class of 2033. March is Youth Art Month and Music is in our Schools Month. These month-long celebrations shine the spotlight on CCS fine arts programs and the talented students and teachers that are in our district. Throughout the month, student artwork will be on display at Union Street Square, which is next to the Creamery. Our district will wrap up these observances at our annual Fine Arts Showcase on April 3rd, which is in downtown Concord. This event will feature CCS students in the performing and fine arts. Students also can display their artistic talents by entering the 10th Annual Future Designer Contest, which is sponsored by Ellis Jewelers. 3 winners, 1 from each level, elementary, middle, and high, are selected to have their original design crafted into an actual piece of jewelry, which Ellis Jewelers then gives to the winner. Students may design either a ring or a pendant. The deadline to submit a design is April the 11th. Entry forms and contest details are posted on our district website. Cabarrus County Schools, Kannapolis City Schools, the Cabarrus County Education Foundation, and the Cabarrus County Chamber of Commerce are collaborating to provide a unique opportunity for high school juniors once again this year through C4 Day, which is the Cabarrus County Career Connections Day. The event is a comprehensive career awareness and job exploration experience on April 7th from 8 a.m. till noon at the Cabarrus Arena and Event Center. Local businesses will introduce students to a wide range of careers in our community through hands-on activities, work-related simulations, internship and apprenticeship, and part-time work recruitment opportunities, and job market preparation. We just finished up our budget process locally here, so we want to say a word of thanks to Kelly Klutz, our Chief Financial Officer, and her finance team for a lot of tremendous amount of work that has to be done to prepare all that information. We had about approximately 30 people here. We have members of the community, teachers, assistant principal, parents, all a part of that, and it truly is difficult to involve a lot of people in the process, but we're very proud that we have an open process and take a lot of work to pull that off. We also want to say thanks to Amy Lauder, who's the lead facilitator of that process, and that in itself is quite a job, so thanks to both of them. I also want to share some well-deserved kudos to our HVAC team that is led by Bill Van Wieren. The North Carolina Department of Labor Boiler Safety Bureau inspector recently commended the Cabarrus County Schools HVAC team. He said, "I appreciate your help with the inspections as well as your immediate attention to the repairs for items we found to be compromised. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact me. I also want to commend your HVAC team for the great job keeping the objects in excellent working condition. Of all the school systems I inspect, you, by far, have the cleanest and best maintained equipment, and that is a testament to the technicians' work ethic. Once again, thank you." I add my thanks to Bill and his team for the work that they do to keep our HVAC systems operating, especially for the ones that are older and years beyond their life cycles. It's a testament to their skill and expertise, and we're extremely glad to have them here in Cabarrus County Schools. And finally, I want to welcome our new Assistant Superintendent of Auxiliary Services, John LeGrand. John was formerly an elementary principal, a high school principal, and a district level administrator in a neighboring district. Today is his first day on the job, and we want to welcome him to Cabarrus County Schools.
Thank you, and welcome aboard. So we'll move on to the next section of our agenda, 7.01 guest speakers, but we didn't get a card, so we have no guest speakers today. Okay, but every month we do have the opportunity for people to address the board.
Mr. Chairman.
Hold on, Ms. Carpenter, go ahead.
I would like to just say one thing. I know this evening when I came, I did see our annual summary report that was laying on our desk, and I would like to comment and just thank Miss Boone. I heard that this was one of her things that she had put together, and it is excellent. And I know that y'all were all, and everyone that was involved, for photography and everything. This is an excellent piece, and I'm sure we'll get an award for it, which we normally do. But it is just great. I love the way it was put together, and the information, of course, it's great too. But I love the layout of it. But it is a great the way it's very compact, and I just love the summary of it and everything. It's right to the point, and it's got great information because we're a great system. But I just like the way it was put together. Thank you for it.
Would you be able to come up and tell us how people can get a hold of that, or how it's displayed?
Thank you for the compliments, Ms. Carpenter. I appreciate that. The annual summary is posted on our district website under the Our District link, the Our District tab, and we have limited hard copies available. One of the reasons that you mentioned the compact size, one of the reasons we went to a much smaller size was to cut down on cost, obviously, and so we had a very limited print run. And so we have some limited copies here, but you can also access it online.
As I said, I just love the layout of it, and like I say, the graphics in it were very good. Especially, it's just very, like I say, right to the point, and that's what I really like about it. And I think it'll be easy for the public to read and understand. And I think that's what's the beauty of it.
Okay, thank you. That's what we were trying to do, so thank you.
And these are all in-house pictures too, so this is excellent.
Yes.
Great job by a photographer as well. Okay, we'll move on to item 8, which is approval of the consent agenda. All those items that we discussed last week. Do we have any comments, or do we need otherwise I'd need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All right, so I have a motion by Ms. Furtenbaugh, a second by Mr. Harrison. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Hearing none, that vote passed 7-0. So we will move on to our action item. Action items. 9.01 is amendment to the Athletic Training Services Agreement, and we have Brian Schultz. Are you coming to the podium?
Good evening, Chairperson Walter, Chairperson Shoemaker, members of the board, Dr. Superintendent. So I'd like to present the amendments to the athletic training contract as we discussed last week, and I'd entertain any questions at this time.
I want to thank Mr. Tyson for giving me a call to help me clearly understand. But one of the confusions was that this did state that in the original agreement stated 8 people, but we found out that one of those people is not paid, so it was really the division. There's only 7 actual trainers in our high school, and then Mr. Behringer is kind of like supervising that, as long as a lot of, as well as other districts around the area. So I now understand, and we'll be adding an 8th to take care of West Cabarrus. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We all learned a lot in that. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I also wanted to share that I had inquired to our CFO, Ms. Klutz, about the dates in the agreement, and because of the summer sports activities that go on, they want to start June 12th, but we won't pay for those 3 weeks. Basically, she'll make one increased fee after the new fiscal year starts.
That's correct. Summer workouts and skill development for football begin the 15th, which is a Monday, begin that month, so that helps cover that.
And we've had a partnership with, for how many years now?
I don't know. Atrium, it's been a while. It's been
at least I can remember when we got on the board in 2012. They were,
yeah, definitely more than 5 years.
but it's been a very good partnership, and it certainly benefits our students. So, we need a motion and a second to approve it.
I'll make the motion that we approve the new amendment to the training services agreement.
And I'll second that.
Okay, so motion by Mr. Shoemaker, second by Ms. Furtenbaugh. All in favor of approving this agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, that motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item, what are we on to? 9.02, approval of policy 1720, 4015, and 7225, discrimination, harassment, bullying, complaint procedure. So
Okay,
you can pull it up on. So last week, I guess Mr. Harrison had some comments. Is everything?
No, I appreciate Ms. Jones's offline comments with me this afternoon for a lot of clarifications. And I'd just like to go straight to a motion because the policy is very strong, and the policy is going to do what the school system needs to protect rights and reduce risks. And if I may make a motion for it to be adopted, I would appreciate that opportunity, sir.
Okay. Did we get any public comments on it? Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Harrison. He needs a second.
Second it.
Second by Ms. Carpenter. All in favor of approval?
Could I just make one
Sure.
comment? This is a really good piece of policy. I want to make sure that the public understands we have a section in here about oral and written complaints. And if you really want to be heard, then we really would appreciate that parents put these, and students as well, put their problems, their issues, their bullying complaints into writing so that we can truly track them. Because in this, it does basically say that oral complaints aren't the same as written complaints. And it's very important that we do have a way to track the complaints so we can stay up with it. And oral complaints don't allow us to track the complaint in a proper way. So
That is correct. Thank you very much.
Sorry, but do I have any further discussion from my board members? Okay, hearing none. Ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, that motion passes 7-0. So So we're moving on to item 9.03, which is the audit contract for 2020-2021. Ms. Kelly Klutz, are you coming to the podium? There you are.
Questions that the board has?
I'll make a motion
Thank you.
that we approve your contract.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Shoemaker, a second by Mr. Harrison. Any discussion among the board on this contract?
No, I just liked seeing the data comparing the cost of audits, and we had discussed that previously at the work session. Because Ms. Klutz makes her staff available and is prepared for the audit, we save local money, which is a win-win for us.
Yes.
So.
Okay, thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes as well, 7-0, and we will continue to move on to our next item, which is 9.04, Weddington Road Fund Approval. And we have Mr. Tim Louder and Mr. Brian Cohn. Welcome.
Thank you. We just came back from the county commissioners meeting, and where they did approve our funding movement to move those funds for us from their contingency and from our sales tax in order to cover the cost of this bid for our roadway improvements. So we appreciate if y'all approve it too.
So can I ask a question?
You may, please do.
So you said that you had them approved, so the $64,814 will be moved from our sales tax?
Yes.
Yes, that's
okay.
correct.
I hadn't heard that one. That's a new wrinkle on it, but we knew we were asking them for an additional, but that's how we got it. Okay, no problem. I just hadn't heard that wrinkle, so that's interesting. Thank you. Well, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve and get Weddington Road in the condition that we need it for our high school. So I would approve this contingency move on the Weddington Road construction.
Now second.
I have a motion by Mr. Shoemaker, a second by Ms. Furtenbaugh. Any further discussion? Ms. Carpenter?
One question. Now, is this going to put a stoplight anywhere? Is this within this improvement? It will, because I've had that question asked of me many times within the residents of this. Is any of this going to have a stoplight?
Yes, ma'am, it will have a stoplight.
Okay, so the public, you hear that. There will be a stoplight. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I just quickly ask for clarification? What was the cause of this unexpected? The low bid was over our budgeted amount, but can you generalize
Yes, sir.
how this came about?
We had an allowance in our contract for about $1.1 million total before it went out, and then as roadway improvements were finalized and finished by NCDOT and the City of Concord and our designers. Our first pricing that came back from our general contractor, which is Branch, came in a little over $2.5 million. And we're like, ooh. So we went back to DOT. Brian and I negotiated quite a bit back and forth. I had a lot of discussions with the folks in Raleigh about what was required and what was absolutely necessary. We're able to help reduce the scope of the project a little bit. Actually got DOT to take on a portion of the project for the turn lanes out on George Lyles under a different scenario. And then we still could not get the price to where we wanted to be. We're still about $1.89 million on the pricing with that change. So with DOT, they asked us if we would bid it and go out and take separate bids on it. So we broke the package out and took bids on it, of course, and then we tried to make sure our bid climate was a little bit better, even though about as fast as we could do either way. But the bid climate was a little better. We still only received 2 bids, which was somewhat disappointing, but we are happy that the bids came in much closer to the allotment we had, which was 3 years old, but we're glad to get close to it. So.
Let me just say along those lines, so what happened is at the time that this all came up, it was a very competitive bid climate, significantly more expensive whenever they put it out, and so it is the skills of these 2 gentlemen in front of us who ultimately said, well, if we pull this out and bid this ourselves, we can ultimately save about $1 million. So these 2 guys are the reason that we can pull that off now and still have that open. So it's really a tribute to these 2 guys that they did such hard work, have a whole lot of skills, and save the county a lot of money. So thanks, guys.
And can you clarify, does some of this come back to the county eventually?
Well, yes, sir. According to new legislation, they're required to pay. DOT would pay the portion that was on DOT streets, and the City of Concord to pay the portion that was on City of Concord streets. It was a requirement for the transportation portion. We did take the bids, and the bids were broken out, so we do know how much of it is City of Concord, and how much of it is DOT. DOT though, so we made sure we went very, very carefully. The DOT approved the exact scope, so there would not be any major disconcern when it gets to the state about how much money they had to pay us back. Now, how long it will take us to pay us back, I don't know, but they haven't really developed that full process about how that payment will come back to us. But yeah, eventually, yes, the money is supposed to come back to us according to that legislation. Yes, sir.
Ms. Carpenter?
Is this the first time because we're asking them for it over in Harrisburg, we're asking them for it over here. Is this the first time this legislation is being used to ask for money like this?
It's the first time in Cabarrus County Schools that we'll be asking for it, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are other schools that have been built within the area that are going through that process for the reimbursement.
Yes, so the law changed on that, and Mr. Shaw can talk it if you want to, but because the law has changed is the reason that we don't know exactly what's going to happen. But the state is obligated to that per law. We just haven't seen it in practice yet. I don't know if Brian wants to add to that.
That's right. There are a number of school districts that have submitted applications, but the ones we've represented so far have not received their money. So we think it's going to be coming, but you never know till you get it. But I would commend the staff here for working with DOT to make sure there's no surprise, that doing it the right way, we don't get bounced for some procedural problem.
Everybody got the questions answered? Good. Okay, let's vote on this one. So all in favor of approving the motion to request the funding, additional funds from Cabarrus County Commissioners, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion passes 7-0. And now that we figured out how we're going to fund it, we move on to approval of the contract. Is that correct?
And Brian and I both appreciate you approved the funding before we ask you to award the contract, so we don't have to wear orange for a while. So Brian, I'll let you go from there.
Yeah, so as a part of that approved funding, we worked feverishly last week after receiving bids with the low bid contractor of Lynn Thomas Grading Company out of Polkton, and we're able to coordinate with them and with our council in getting the standard abbreviated form of agreement between the owner and contractor completed, and would ask for your approval of that contract.
Okay, questions on this one?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Grimsley, a second by Ms. Carpenter. Any other discussion? Questions? Okay, all those in favor of approving the contract with Lynn Thomas Grading, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, that also passes 7-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That I think, oh, go ahead.
Can I ask one question?
Yes. Sure.
When do you anticipate the completion of the work? Now, I know you've been in conversation with the contractor. What kind of project timeline did they give us?
I would suspect that we'll be in July, probably late June, 1st of July when it's completed, weather permitting.
We have a 90-day contract time in our contract.
Thank you.
And you anticipate starting before the end of this month, right?
Yeah, they'll mobilize next week actually and get started, so it'll start getting fun. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. We do have a need to go into a closed session so that the board can consult an attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege pursuant to General Statute 143-318-11A3, and in connection with the case of CF versus Cabarrus County Board of Education, and to consider confidential personnel matters pursuant to General Statute 143-318-11A6. So I would need a motion and a second to go into a closed session.
I make a motion we go into closed session.
Motion. Okay, motion by Ms. Carpenter, a second by Mr. Harrison. All in favor of moving into closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we are now moving into closed session. We're going to say goodnight to our listening audience. Thank you.